Teela, I failed.
This is Better Moody, and you're listening to The Way Forward. It's super late. It's almost not even today anymore. And I'm chewing gum, which is super rude from what I hear. But we're gonna work through that together. We have been watching He-Man, or Masters of the Universe, the new version with Nicholas Galtine. I probably mispronounced that. And it's been an absolutely unreasonable number of times. Like, it's moving. I'm watching it on Prime move up the scale for trending, and I promise you it's like playing on 2 or 3 of the TVs in the house. And we're the ones creating the rise. I feel like my son is the one with the power to help the power. He keeps calling it the power. So you hear him running around. That's all he talks about is the power. There is a scene where He-Man raises his sword and all the enemies are just, they melt away. They're shocked into the distance, and he rises up and floats, and his body transforms, and you can just see the magic and the power and the muscles and sinew in the veins. And I looked over at my son. This was the first time I watched it. His mouth was open, sitting there, and I have it set up to where it's like a theater or whatever in the garage, and eyes wide, mouth open, and that was the magic moment. And I said to Savannah, this is going to be a core memory for him. And I fully support that because I feel like it was a core memory for me as a kid. So I'm like, yes, you will have, this is how we pass on the history, the tradition, the legacy. You will have the same core values as me. Thank you, He-Man. You have the power. Oh, man. But there's this moment. Actually, I just figure we'll probably just do a whole lot of episodes about He-Man and whatever line struck me. And there are several, by the way. I've looked into, I mean, you know what's one funny thing that as you get older, I remember watching my friend's parents watch a movie and watch the credits and thinking, who does this? And as an adult, I find myself, without posing or, trying to look like somebody, like, how you get an image in your head and you're like, I'm going to hold the Starbucks and wear the Lululemon because you want to fit this image. That's not what's happening here. The image is, I really want to know who in the world was doing these different parts in the movie. And I want to know everybody's background story. So I don't know if that just happens. You get ultra curious when you're an adult and you like move from being in that moment to background and research, or is that something that was just imposed upon me by virtue of becoming an adult, going to work. That's all I know how to do now is research. But yeah, the weird part is that I am just very okay with this being the new scripture. The Bible study is on hold. Don't judge me, because we have to understand, we have to know the whole script. The whole movie must be played like 24/7 until it's ingrained in our souls and in our cellular level. We are totally drinking from the hose here. And yeah, I'm okay with it for a time. For a time, let's be immersed. But I started thinking about why I'm okay with my kids watching the same movie over and over and over and over and over again. Because there's definitely things that I would not want playing in my house this much. But this one, yeah, I'm good with it. So, a little bit of context if you haven't seen the movie. For this particular episode, I mean, I'm just going to say Idris Elba is Duncan. He is the man at arms. And I'm not one to drool, but I think everybody else on the planet is drooling, and for good reason. I think he's embodied these characteristics of a heartwarming father, and the man can act like he can. I mean, and I'm telling you, I've watched this so many times now. I've seen every eye twitch, every, half smirk, like all these little tiny micro movements. He is so in character. Not everybody can do that, but so believable. He's strong, and he's capable. He's experienced. And then he's the guy who's supposed to know what he's doing. He is the mentor. And there's this whole confrontation where he's basically like, do you know who I am? And I'm like, yeah, on top of that, he knows who he is. He is confident. And he is fighting this guy who has this ridiculous name, Trapjaw. Looks like one of those bear traps for a mouth. And his response is essentially, I don't know, tell me. And he does. He knows who he is, and I love that. But the crazy thing is, and I didn't see it coming the first time I watched it, but the crazy thing is even the greats, the goats, even the amazing, the teachers, they have moments where they fall. And that is the key thing. And that was one of the beautiful moments in the movie that I took away. Little snapshots that'll stick with me probably for a very long time, because he looks up to his daughter who comes to help, to his aid. And he says, the acting's beautiful, but he says, Teela, I failed. And he's not whining or anything like that. I think it's just more shock, like, oh, damn, how did this happen? Sometimes we're overly confident and we just don't even see failure as a possibility. But I don't think he failed. I think that was an over-exaggeration. It's almost like the moment was etched into or burned or, seared into him when the enemy said, you failed. And then he gets knocked unconscious and he's like, oh crap, that's the last thing I knew. Dang, I failed. Yeah, he doesn't make any excuses though. He doesn't say, well, I guess, he was just stronger than me. There were too many bad guys this time. He didn't say if I would have won, I could have won if this didn't happen or that didn't happen or that wasn't my fault. See, he didn't actually, that step right there was a foul. Because it is what it is. He just doesn't pretend that it wasn't his responsibility. He owned it completely. I failed. I don't know. I think that's powerful in and of itself for your kid to see that side of you. So I think sometimes we accidentally teach our kids that the people they should admire are the people who win. The strongest person wins. The smartest person gets the answer right. The talented person's gonna be successful. And the hero saves everybody. And if you don't do all that in a row like an arrow, you suck. That's the message that's embedded. Kids don't. I mean, I think we might be better at it now than we used to be, but just learning that life is a series of falling down and getting back up, that whole sequence. It's just, hey, buddy. It's just good to know. Sometimes you can be good at something and turn around and absolutely screw it up. That one stings, because it does. It happens. Sometimes you can prepare, you can give it everything you've got, and you can just know that you're going to kill it. You're going to knock it out the park, and then you flop. And I think moments, especially when the spotlight's on you, when you're on a stage, that big presentation, you know, you're in a ball game, all eyes on you. You can genuinely believe that you're the right person for the job. And then, you know, it's a wrap. Armageddon. I've been watching a lot of movies about space lately too, but anyway, that's a sidebar. Because He-Man's front and center. But yeah. I don't know. I failed a lot. Yeah. And he's busy running laps in the hallway. That's how we get ready for bed around here. Push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, and sprints. Go, 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 go. But yeah, I don't know. Actually, I've been feeling really good about myself lately, and I've been fairly stress-free, so I don't even want to reminisce about a time when I failed. I failed, though. I remember trying. I'm going to take it way, way back. I remember, yeah, and I hope my kids and my grandkids get to hear this one day, but why would I need to do a pull-up in PE? Was I like in the 3rd or 4th grade? And I remember I was in a skirt. Why did the PE teacher want me to do, and this is not anything perverse, it was just everybody had to do it. And I was like, I can't. And to this day, I have never been able to do a pull-up. So, you know, spoiler, I go to do the pull-up, and why am I so high up in the sky? I fell on my behind, skirt all up in the air, around my neck. Who cares? I'm running away, crying. Like, why? This was the day and age of brutality when PE was painful. But, you know, there was rope climbing. I remember doing a pull-up. I don't know what school I went to, you guys. I don't know what was going on. But, yeah, there are times when I've literally fallen on my ass. And then, I guess that's why that moment really hit. So, I think it's good. It's good to see that people aren't perfect, because then instead of beating yourself up for not upholding the super strict and, you know, lofty goal, when you can't, yeah, I don't know why the words aren't coming to me. I'm like thinking of all the adjacent words, like something about the bar. The bar is too high. You need to use the bathroom? Yeah? Yeah, I've got that. What about it? Pee-pee's real. Pee-pee? Uh-huh. You ready for bed?
Nope.
Okay. Go hang out with your sister, or you can lay next to me.
iPad.
You want it, what? iPad?
Yeah.
It's right there. Silly baby. Yeah. Anyway, that's just interesting to me. This is where I just don't know. The question that I've been thinking about is, what are kids actually learning from the things they watch over and over? Because I hope it's not bad. Hey, can you turn the sound down? As cool as that game is, I promise it's not all we do. We don't just watch Masters of the Universe. But what are they learning? Because I had a conversation with Savannah. Savannah didn't want to be on tonight. And she said, kids don't remember things. I'm like, but the core memory's there. If you have a kid that grows up scared and sad all the time, that affects them as an adult. They remember something. So maybe they don't remember all the words, all the scenes, but, you know, there's an impression that's being made. It's like this work of art that's just all watercolors. Maybe you get the sunshine yellow and the ruby reds and the oranges, or you could be the blues and the greens and the grays, or it could be all gray and black. You know what I mean? But there's an impression that you grow up with. This is just my take. No PhD backing this up, just my lips and my hot air. But what are they taking away from the movies they watch over and over again? Maybe it's just a cool movie. Maybe I'm assigning this whole philosophy, this lesson to something that they're watching because, you know, it is a man, a muscle man with a sword. So that's entirely possible. But maybe they are picking up character traits. The power. And another weird thing is, I don't know if I should be troubled about this, but every time Skeletor comes onto the scene, Camden says, "Daddy's here." I don't know what that means. I'm like, what does, I don't even want to try to interpret that because I'm scared. I'm like, are you seeing the future? Did someone tell you this? Is this a dream that you had? Is this a part of your past? What other life did you live that I need to know about? Where Skeletor was your father? But repetition has something to do with it. I think if you're going to hear the same messages, see the same characters, and then watch the same thing over and over, then, you know, of course those messages are important. We are what we consume, and that's not just food. That's, you know, what we see, what we hear, what we spend our time doing. It becomes us. We internalize it. So I think that's a good message to take away, though, that if you can fail without becoming a failure, that's probably one of life's greatest lessons, at least for me, is just knowing that that's the graceful piece of life. It's the spice of life. It's the piece that you need to survive this life. So, yeah, you can fail without becoming a failure, actually. Hold on. I think it's the part that I like the most. It's the difference between I failed and I'm a failure. Duncan says the first one. And I think that's a pretty damn important distinction because eventually everybody gets knocked down. My kids will, I do, you do. And I don't want my kids growing up thinking that being strong means never having that moment. I want them to sit there, look at what happened, and then say, yeah, I failed. Oh, well. Okay, now what? What are we going to do now? What are we going to do next? And then maybe tomorrow they'll decide that they're completely done with He-Man. I don't see it happening anytime soon. And we'll watch something else 700 times. But for right now, if this is the one that I'm going to hear playing every day, for every moment, and these will be my thoughts, I think I'm pretty okay with that. But also, I guess to keep it interesting, I keep researching. And Jared Leto is 54. I just wanted to throw that out there because he is Skeletor. He is 54. He has not been married. He is also in some other really cool movies. I was trying to think of the last one that I watched with him. What was that one? Not going to come to me. But yeah, one of these days. He's in a band? See, this is the stuff I look up. I'm just like bored. Not really. Actually, I can't be bored watching all these great actors. And there's so many in the show. But apparently I'm supposed to be bored. But I'm just fascinated with everybody's career and the trajectory of it and the magnificent job that everyone's done. So applause, roses. Not everybody loves Mattel's Masters of the Universe. But if you're gonna be one, You gotta watch the movie. No. Okay, and then I did look up also Masters of the Universe. How did He-Man come to be? Because I was all about some She-Ra growing up, but turns out Mattel missed the wave for Star Wars. You don't need to know this, but just hear me out. They missed the wave, and all the money that came along with that whole Star Wars saga. And so they're like, we need to come up with some characters too. So just make this dude and give him lots of muscles, and then put a bear skin around his thighs, like what? And then the whole backstory. They had to come. Okay, well, shoot, what does he do? He looks cool. Everybody's buying him. We got to make a story for this guy. So it was the 80s. Oh my goodness. The early versions were very sketch. But neither here nor there. For right now, if this is the movie that I'm going to hear playing every day, I'm okay with it. Because there are worse things that my kids could hear over and over again. Like, you got knocked down. You failed. You're still you. I love you. You're amazing. That doesn't change your value. Now get back up and try again. I think that's it. This is Better Moody. You've been listening to The Way Forward. I'm out.